Coming up today on Studio 13 Live, we're sitting down with actress and comedian Kim Whitley ahead of her upcoming show in Tacoma.
Next, the Tin Lizzy Lounge is showing us how to make some cocktails for Women's History Month.
Plus, we're chatting with the director of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz at Seattle Children's Theater.
Then Boss Saw is showing us how to cook some modern Vietnamese dishes. Studio 13 Live starts right now.
I wanna see you smile, take you another mile. Don't gotta wait, don't gotta wait, don't gotta wait today.
Hey, happy Friday, friends. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're so excited to have you. I'm Carly Henderson.
And I'm Mireya Garcia. And you know, not only is it a happy Friday, but it's also National Cocktail Day. We are going to be making some drinks later today on the show, but I have to know, what is your go-to cocktail?
Ooh, I love anything with like muddled herbs in it or fresh rosemary, like a blood orange rosemary cocktail or even like a mojito.
Oh,
What's
that's
yours?
fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty basic, girl. I really love a margarita. I think that's just so refreshing and amazing, you know. So, but here's my thing. Here's what makes me fancy. It's got to be spicy.
Okay.
I got to see like the chunks of jalapeno in there.
Okay.
Chew on them a little.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's really yummy, I think. Well, we'll have some fun with that later, but it is that time of year again. UW's cherry blossoms starting to bloom.
Yes, the second annual U District Cherry Blossom Festival actually kicks off today and it runs through April 2nd. So the historic UW cherry blossoms help mark the start of spring every year, and this year is no exception. During the festival, more than 70 businesses are coming together to kick off this new season in a really fun way. There's going to be all kinds of promotions on every corner of the neighborhood.
So we are taking a live look right now at UW's Cherry Blossom, so you can see they still got a little work to go, which is why that festival runs for 2 weekends. They're a little bit behind schedule because of those colder than normal temperatures we've been having. It's going to be, you know, we heard Abby say it's going to be fine this weekend. Not great, but just fine. And UW says that they do say that you should plan your visit for early April if you want to see those blooms at their peak. But I do think it's always fun to get together. You should know that right now they're only at like 10% open.
Okay. I think I'll wait and go next weekend. I love a cherry blossom.
I know.
Cherry Blossom Festival. It's so fun. It feels like spring really hit Seattle this last week. I was like, I don't know what I was expecting, but all of a sudden it was like, bam, beautiful, sunny, warm, magical days. And then I feel like now we're in like a little winter intermission again.
Yes.
But then it feels like next week it's just going to be spring.
You know what I really love too is that, you know, since you and I have been living here for a few months now, and Seattle has just been so incredibly welcoming, which we adore. But now that we're getting into a brand new season, I feel like Carly and I get to experience a whole host of new things, new festivals that we hadn't had an opportunity to experience before because we didn't live here quite yet. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's really exciting. If you, I mean, if you love it during winter, just wait for spring, right?
Yes. So send us your recommendations for what you love to do in spring because we want to hear it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so this one really made me giggle. Starbucks wants you to choose your next drink based on your zodiac sign. Okay, this is a fun one. Starbucks and the astrology app Sanctuary teamed up to launch a new website, and they're calling it Starbucks Signs. On there, you put your zodiac sign, choose the time of day that you like to drink your coffee, and then in return, you get a list of power words to describe you, a color designated to you, and then a flower designated to you. And then they also suggest a drink order. And you know, I have to say, I'm not very big on astrology, but every now and then I am shook to the core because it gets me really right.
Yeah, yeah. In this case, I hope it got me right because it was a very flattering little review, but I don't know how much they can tell just by your star sign and the time of day you want to drink your coffee. But I took this quiz this morning, and let's see here. It says that I am warm, energetic, captivating. I mean, I'll take it.
Captivating, I agree.
My spring color is sunshine, sunflowers, and they do recommend that I drink a strawberry cream frappuccino, which I'm going to be honest is not my typical order. I usually like to go for like a latte or a dirty chai or something like that in there. And I told them I drink it in the morning. I don't know. This is like milkshake.
That's a weird,
vibes. That's an afternoon treat drink for sure. But it kind of did make me consider drinking a new drink.
Just to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Do something a little different.
It's fun. It's like a BuzzFeed quiz or something.
Yes,
You know, you're like, oh, tell me more about myself.
That's very cute. And I also took this quiz. Here were my results. I didn't agree with all of them, but it was also very nice and flattering, and who doesn't want to be flattered? Okay, so it says my color is juniper, which is kind of a cool tone. I didn't really peg myself for like a cool tone lady.
What is juniper color? Green?
It's like a green, like
Okay.
a minty green. But, you know, it's very nice that they say I am savvy, decisive, and attentive. And I do think I'm pretty decisive, so I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, that makes sense. Flower, a chrysanthemum, which I actually bought last weekend.
Oh,
so I was
whoa.
like, oh, that's weird. But the drink also I'm not really vibing with, like passion tango tea lemonade. That sounds super refreshing for the afternoon.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to have that in the morning.
Yeah, you're not going to roll up in the morning and get that.
I don't think so.
That's fun though.
Yeah.
It's cute. It's always fun to like switch it up a little bit and see what else is happening. Let's talk about subscriptions. I know we all have a lot of subscriptions here. So if you ever started a 30-day trial and forgotten to cancel it, and then when you finally remember and go to cancel, it's kind of hard to do. Well, the FTC is actually proposing a click to cancel rule to make it easier to cancel these free trials and subscriptions. The agency says it should be as easy to cancel a subscription as it is to sign up for one. The FTC has accused companies of tricking consumers into paying for something that they don't want. I think this is such a good idea. I have definitely gone to cancel subscriptions before, and it's like, oh, you have to call customer service and sign up with a human. And I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't have to do this to sign up in the first place. I just
Right.
clicked, put in my credit card, and got it. So I think this is a genius idea.
I do. I absolutely love it. It protects the consumers more. And I don't want to throw anybody under the bus because I do like this product, but I use HelloFresh from time to time, and I do enjoy it, but I don't want it until the end of time. You know what I mean? I like to take breaks. And early on, I'm talking like a few years back, when I signed up, it was very easy. Then when I tried to cancel, I had to do that whole deal.
Yeah.
Call. And then I think they have some sort of rule where you have to like say no 3 times before they accept it. I will say though, the last time I used HelloFresh, that process was a lot easier. I just clicked cancel. So I think
that's
that
good.
a lot of companies are getting ahead of this. So if you're the kind of company that isn't doing it now, you might want to figure it out.
Yeah. Please do. Please do. Don't
Absolutely.
force us to keep our subscriptions if we don't want.
We don't
'Cause
want
We're
'em.
awkward and we don't want to talk on the phone.
I
Just
know.
let us.
I think
or canceling a gym, you have to sometimes mail in a physical letter. Come on.
Who's mailing letters? I can't
I'm already
do
feeling bad
it.
enough about canceling the gym subscription. Don't make me do that.
So speaking of being incredibly awkward, which I think we all are, right? If you think hosting a dinner is challenging, you're not alone. A new study found out that the majority of Americans think that hosting dinner at their home is super stressful. So when planning, hosts worry about how much food to make, how much time everything is gonna take to get out, if people actually like the food, how clean their home really is, that's my big worry. And nearly 50% of people said that catching a plane right before the gate closes is actually less stressful to them than hosting a dinner party in their home. And you know, I do love a good dinner party. I've hosted a few myself, but I'd be lying if I didn't say it was just so incredibly stressful. I usually overbuy. I spend a fortune because I want it to look so nice. And then I'm like, why did I spend this? And nobody's really eating everything. And yeah, I'm worried the whole time, like, did I forget to wipe something down?
Yeah, definitely. It's way more fun to attend a dinner party than to host one yourself. It's really high pressure because everyone has so many different, you know, things that they feel about what they want to eat or what they don't want to eat, or if they don't like it, maybe they're not saying it. And I feel like I definitely overthink it. What I really do like though is a low pressure hang. So having friends over to watch an award show or for like a game night or something like that. And then I'm like, what snacks can I pull out for you? If I'm really planning ahead, I'll be like, text me your favorite snacks or your favorite drinks and I'll get it for you. And then it's like, you can exceed expectations really easily. I'll make some homemade pita chips. And I love making like a spread there because then people can just pick at it. You're not offended if they don't like your favorite dish or whatever. But dinner party, I don't know about, I haven't really hosted many dinner parties at all.
Yeah,
It's too
I like the
stressful.
low pressure hang. I do love that idea, but you know what? If you're a big fan of Studio 13 Live, which of course you are, we have recently learned a few tricks to really mellow out the stress if you are hosting people, like making batch cocktails.
Oh my gosh, yes. That is a very impressive move too. And really good recipes on our website as well. All right, let's talk dating, because dating has become so difficult. Some single men are turning to AI for help. Men are using chatbots for things like writing their dating profiles and replying to matches. Men say that using this generator helps them feel more confident. Some say they've gone from 0 dates to dozens, but other people say that it feels dishonest. What would you do if you found out that a bot was on the other end of the conversation?
Like a whole bot the whole time?
Yeah, like
That's
it wasn't that
dishonest.
person. You
No,
meet them in
that's
real life and it's a
terrible.
whole nother vibe.
Here's the thing, and I know that you and I cannot really understand this because of what we do for a living, but like it is very difficult for people to express themselves.
Yeah.
So if you are using a chatbot to build out your dating profile, I feel like that's probably okay.
Yeah.
But like to have full-on conversations, no.
No. Also, like, who has time to be like going back and forth to the AI generator and saying,
gosh.
she replied this, what do I say here? It's just so weird. This is why you've got to do like the video call screener before you ever meet up with them in person.
That's right.
Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy putting on all your makeup and doing the whole thing before you meet up with somebody, because you really don't know, especially with this like AI stuff just growing at such a rapid pace. I feel like every week we're hearing about new uses for it.
Yeah.
Some of them I love, like helping you write your cover letters and things like that, but it's just so weird.
I know. And I feel like we've spent so much time talking about whether people's pictures are accurate and, you know, if they really look the way they say,
Yeah.
if their height is honest, you know,
Yeah.
what, like, and I'm saying you should be honest
Yeah.
if you're doing this, but I think that really lying
Yeah.
about the core of your personality
Yeah.
and how you communicate with people and what you believe in, like that is a new level of being a liar.
Because you can seem so funny and so witty and come up with like cute little jokes if you have like an hour to think about
Yeah.
it before replying to the person, and also consult a robot. But it's going to be a different story in real life, so try to keep it as close to your own personality as possible.
I know,
okay?
I know. I think that's a good idea.
Good luck.
Good luck. Try
rough
your
out there.
best. Yes, it is. All right, still to come on Studio 13 Live, it is time for some top entertainment headlines with TMZ.
Yes, Selena Gomez is speaking to her fans about bullying amid all the drama with Hailey Bieber that is still somehow going on. So check out what she has to say about that next.
Take you another mile. Don't gotta wait, don't gotta wait, don't gotta wait today. It's happening all around.
Oh, hello. It is time to take a look at what is popping in the world of celebrity news.
Yes, for that we are bringing in TMZ's senior producer, Charlie Neff. Hey, Charlie, happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday. Woo woo. Time for the weekend.
We made it. So let's talk about Olivia Wilde, because I hear that she scored a pretty big victory in her battle with Jason Sudeikis over child custody and support. What's the latest on this?
Yeah, big win for her. So yesterday, there was a hearing where a judge ruled that their child custody case and child support case needed to be heard in California. So here's the reason why that's important. So Jason originally wanted all of this to be hashed out in New York. And of course, in New York, they're known for being less generous with child support. So he's got a reason why he wants this to happen in New York. And she's got a reason why she wants this to happen in California. But, you know, their kids, they have 2 small children. They live here in California. So a judge, you know, kind of said, look, this is going to happen in California, which obviously was not what Jason was looking for. But this has just been overall a very nasty separation. You know, they weren't actually married. They just were, you know, co-parenting. But since they've been separated, he had served her when she was on stage at Comic-Con, which was really nasty. And then she started dating Harry Styles. And then this housekeeper came out and said that there was all this drama with that whole thing. Of course, you know, Olivia is no longer with Harry, but just in general, between Olivia and Jason, this is just getting really nasty.
Yeah, it's so public too. Like all of this, I feel like I shouldn't know this information, but it is so public. Like when he served her on stage.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean,
Yeah.
it's clearly very, very messy.
I know. You have to wonder if it's eventually going to impact Ted Lasso, you know, the character, of course, also going through a divorce, but he's like a nice guy. Are people going to start questioning? I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it's really tough.
But also, this could like spin itself on its head. Like, what if they get back together? You know, that's always a possibility as well. And maybe all this can kind of, you know, go away smoothly and they can kind of just work it out. So you never know what could happen.
I mean, she does have a really good salad dressing recipe, so
I know.
I want to know it.
That's what I hear. All right, hey, let's talk about this story, which, you know, you and I, Carly, have been chatting about because it's insane. Selena Gomez finally speaking out about the drama with Hailey Bieber. She is actually talking to her fans about bullying. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so Selena is telling all of her fans, stop bullying Hailey Bieber. So she posted something on her Instagram basically saying like, look, Hailey Bieber called me. She said that she's getting a ton of death threats and a lot of like horrible hate from people. And Selena's just like, I do not support this. I want you guys all to stop this. She's basically, you know, calling down the troops and saying we do not need to continue on with this hate. And Selena did follow Hailey on social media too to kind of like show that they have like this truce. But obviously, I know you guys know that there's always been like some rumors about tension between Selena and Hailey because they would on and off date Justin. And then, you know, not too long after Selena and Justin broke up, he, you know, quickly started dating Hailey and then they got engaged. So all these fans of Selena are just like diehards for her. And you know, this all kind of sparked up again because there was this whole eyebrow gate where Hailey had apparently shaded Selena because of the eyebrows were too laminated. I mean, just it's real petty stuff. But it is true that if you do like even go and look at Hailey's, you know, tweets about Hailey, they're pretty brutal. So it means a lot for Selena to come out in support of her.
Yeah, I think it's like really opening the door to conversation about how you don't have to like everybody that you are interacting with or out there in the world, but you do have to be civil and like you have to be kind. I think that that's really important. And whatever the relationship is with Selena and Hailey, I think Selena certainly is showing that kindness is important.
Yeah, especially with like the fans feeding into this so much with TikTok and all the different theories and just the wild sort of patterns that people are pulling up and making entire videos like, look at Hailey copying Selena's beauty brand and here's all this evidence and blah, blah, blah. It's just like, it's not that serious for these girls. And no matter how they feel behind the scenes, I'm just really glad that publicly they're showing a united front here because that's not cool to make death threats to anybody. And that's when the internet stops being fun.
Yeah. Yep.
Totally. And I think it's really telling, though, that Justin hasn't weighed in on this at all. We haven't heard from him. He hasn't posted. He hasn't done any follows or anything that shows, you know, who he's in support of here. So I feel like it's only a matter of time before maybe he comes forward or maybe he's like, look, this isn't about me. This is about the girls. They need to, you know, work it out or whatever. So be interesting if he weighs in or not.
Yeah, definitely. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Catch you next time.
All right.
Oh my gosh, this is just a lot.
I'm ready for this drama to be over. Okay, switching gears, coming up, the Tin Lizzy Lounge is showing us how to make historical drinks.
I'm so excited, including the first cocktail ever designed by a female mixologist back in 1906. You have a little time to guess what it is, but we'll show you next.
Take you another mile. Don't gotta wait.
Hello, it is time for Seattle Sips, where we check out some amazing drinks in our area.
Yes, today we're joined by Zach Johnson with the Tin Lizzy Lounge. Thanks for coming in, Zach.
My pleasure.
This is exciting. So, Tin Lizzy Lounge, it's a speakeasy in Seattle Center, right?
Yep.
Tell us all about it.
So we've been around since about 1915. We kind of like to look at ourselves as an unpretentious speakeasy. So our entrance is easy enough to find. We really want to make sure that the craft cocktail experience is really accessible to everybody. So even if you're not a craft cocktail person, please come on by. We love to have you. We've got live music every Friday. Just a chill, relaxed vibe to kind of get into the craft cocktail scene.
So inside it's a speakeasy vibe, but outside you can cut in. You don't have to have a secret password or anything like that.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
I love it. So you were saying you do have live music every Friday. Talk to me about what you want people to feel when they walk in.
We do want you to be transported a little bit, right? So we try to lean into the jazz and some like smoky vocalists and stuff like that.
Yes.
Just so it's a good place for a date night or some place where you're going to come out with your friends, family, just kind of energize entertain folks, make them feel like they're getting an exclusive experience. That's the goal.
Cool. And I know you're doing something special for Women's History Month.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
So we're doing 2 cocktails that have some women's history. The first cocktail that we're doing is actually the first cocktail ever made by a female bartender in the United States.
What is it?
So it's called the Hanky Panky, and I'll get started with you on that. And while I'm stirring, I'll give you a little bit of the history. But
Please.
we're going to start with an 1.5 ounce of London Dry Gin. Any good one will do. We're using a Seattle local right now. Then at equal parts, another 1.5 ounces of sweet vermouth.
Okay.
And we're going to top that off with Fernet Branca, which is like a herbal liqueur. So it's going to have kind of like a minty menthol element to it.
Is that like 1 shot's worth?
Great question. So it's about like a spoon's worth, about 0.25 ounces of that.
Okay.
In there, and then the main liqueurs that we put in there are a shot each. So you got about
Just
2
enough.
shots in here, yeah.
Just
So this
enough.
cocktail was invented by Miss Ada Coleman in 1906. She was the first bartender that we know of, at least, a female bartender in the United States at the Savoy Hotel in New York City. And hanky panky, we kind of know what that might be a euphemism for.
Sure.
That's why she named it that way, because I think she had a lot of guys asking her how her hanky panky was.
Oh
And this was her answer, giving them a very
goodness.
strong drink.
Pay me some money and I'll show you my hanky-panky.
Exactly. So very, very cool lady there.
And so it is a very strong drink, you were saying.
It is, yes. So it's smooth, balanced, and it's one of those cocktails, super simple, but we don't really mess with the ingredients too much because it really was perfected when she made it back in 1906.
And tell me about the choice to serve this in a copper.
Copper, yeah,
yeah.
great question. So copper, in addition to kind of being an antioxidant a little bit, is great for keeping drinks colder. And this is one of those drinks that you want to keep cold throughout the entire experience.
It looks so special coming in the cup like that.
Ooh, hello, ma'am. That is strong, but it's
strong.
delicious.
It's pretty drinkable, right? Nice
Yeah,
and
very
smooth.
drinkable, I would say, and I think that knowing the history makes it even more special.
I agree, yeah.
That's really cool.
What else are we making?
So we're also going to do it's our take on the Clover Club, which is a contemporary of the Hanky Panky, but we put a little different spin on it. We named it the Asadi Club. It's named after a courageous, intelligent, beautiful Iranian woman who also happens to be my wife.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
Yeah. And we're lucky enough that it's become a crowd favorite, so we've kind of kept it on the menu there. So instead of a London Dry Gin, we're going to do a botanical gin this time.
Okay.
So you're going to get a lot of botanics in there, kind
Love
of
that.
floral elements.
Yeah.
So we're going to do an ounce of botanical gin. We're going to do an ounce of an Icelandic aquavit.
What is that?
Great question. So it's a neutral grain alcohol made from caraway seed. In this case, we're using Brennivin, which is the #1 liquor in all of Iceland. It's going to give it this really bracing element in addition to the soft botanics.
Beautiful.
We're also going to do basically a 1/2 ounce of creme de framboise. So you're going to get some raspberry in there. We're going to do a little bit of simple. It's going to be sweet, but we want to counteract the freshly squeezed lemon juice. Always squeeze your juices fresh as if you're doing it at home. It seems like a pain, but it makes such a good difference in the
So
cocktails.
much
Yes,
better.
absolutely.
So we're going to do about 0.75 of lemon there. Here's where it gets a little weird. We're going to do just a little bit of salt water. And that's going to actually kind
I love
of...
salt, so.
Do you salt your water? Is that how you make that?
Yeah, we make this in the bar. It's a great question.
Go out
If
to
you
a
bought
Puget
it.
Sound, take a scoop.
What it's going to do, instead of blending all the ingredients like you would normally do in a cocktail, it's going to kind of separate them out. So you're going to get some layers of the flavor.
Okay.
We're going to top it off with some vegan egg white that's going to emulsify the drink and also give it like a really nice foam on top.
Oh my gosh, vegan egg white. I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either until just recently. And now it's like, it's great. You don't have to ask
Yeah.
people about allergies or anything like that.
But it's
So we
nice
got the
and
glass
foamy.
here.
Yeah.
We'll give it a good shake.
We love a shake.
We love a shake. It's an art.
Beautiful. Wow.
Nicely shaken up there. And so I think this has become such a crowd favorite because it's a pretty accessible drink, especially for people who might be their first time trying gin.
Yeah.
They're not going to get a lot of the gin elements. It's just really kind of like a little fresh, sweet garden in a glass there.
Ooh.
We're
I love
gonna
the color
top
of it, too.
off- Yeah, it's a nice color. And that, we top it off with a little bit of fresh thyme, just because there's not a great nose on the glass. You can't really smell it.
Yeah.
And so if you get... Just gonna smack it there. Yeah, sorry. Wake it up there a little bit. If you get that on the nose, it's going to kind of open up the experience a lot more.
So excited for this. We were just
Try
talking about
it.
our favorite cocktails this morning. I was saying, put a fresh herb in it, and that's my
Yes.
favorite
That's
cocktail.
it. Let's see here. What do we think?
Oh my gosh, it is so botanical. You can really taste and smell the herbs when you're drinking it. And it's like the perfect combination of sweet, salty, little kick to it. I
whole
love this.
experience.
And I love the color
Thank
too.
you so much.
This has been so fun, and thank you for the history lesson as well.
my
We
pleasure.
really appreciate that.
It's an honor to share it.
Zach, you're awesome. We're going to put these recipes on our website if you want to check them out. fox13seattle.com/studio13live.
And of course, don't go anywhere because when we come back, well, we're gonna drink these a little more. But then we're gonna hang out with actress and comedian Kim Whitley joining us in studio to chat about her upcoming show in Tacoma.
Yeah, you'll get to hear all about her new show, Act Your Age, and what you can expect from her stand-up comedy tour with
Sherry
our fave,
Shepherd.
Sherry Shepherd. Get
Yeah.
excited. From Curb Your Enthusiasm to Moesha and Bounce TV's most watched series debut, Act Your Age, this actress and comedian has kept us laughing for over 3 decades.
Yes, this weekend she's going to be performing at Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club in Tacoma, and joining us in studio is the incredible Kim Whitley. Hello, Kim.
Hey, ladies! So excited to have you here. And huge congrats because your new series, Act Your Age, had a killer debut. Oh my gosh, tell us all about the show.
Oh, absolutely. Act Your Age is on Bounce TV, and it's with me, Tisha Campbell, Yvette Nicole Brown, and we came out, was it 3 Saturdays ago, and we broke records with 2.14 million viewers.
It's amazing.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And it's kind of like Golden Girls vibes, right?
Yeah, see, it's a Golden Girls, I think, with a little sprinkle of Sex in the City.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Very funny.
Very
it's like
good.
back in the day, sitcoms where you could laugh out loud. So
Very
very
nice.
funny show.
And of course, you have had a stellar career. We're talking Moesha, Curb Your Enthusiasm, You People. What is your favorite job you've ever had? Uh-oh.
Oh, that's hard. But right now, on Act Your Age is my favorite because I'm working with my friends. But Curb Your Enthusiasm was fun because we saved a guy's life, basically from murder. He was up for murder and he didn't do it. Two Funny Mamas podcast. That's my favorite job with Sherry Shepherd, who's my bestie. And you know what? It's hard because anything like a lot of fun. I did a show with Marlon Wayans back in the day, but they let me just go and act crazy. I put some crazy teeth in my mouth, and just I try to have fun everywhere I go.
Yeah. How did you and Cherry become friends?
That is so funny. Sherry and I lived across the street from each other when we were struggling comedians. She was a law secretary, and I went over her house one day. Well, I saw her in the comedy club, but then I went over her apartment, and I was like, you don't have any furniture.
Oh, no.
Well, she had a bunch of wigs. She had wigs and wigs. I was like, wait a minute. I said, we should take some of these wigs and maybe make you a couch.
Priorities, you know what I mean?
Right.
Gotta look good.
Right, but we are definitely best of friends. I go on her show, and we're going on tour in May, so I'm very excited about that. Two Funny Mamas tour with Sherry Shepherd and Kim Whitley. So just it's weird because I've been on her show. We have a podcast together, put it together during the pandemic. And we are truly good friends. She just told me the other day, we were doing a podcast. She said, oh, I'm having a party at your house. She didn't ask.
Surprise.
So,
That's
There you
friendship.
go.
That's friendship for you.
I loved watching you on Daily Pop and Nightly Pop. I still can't believe those shows are not happening anymore.
okay.
What was it like doing those shows?
It was great. It's probably like what you ladies do. You get to talk about what's happening every day. So I was up on pop culture. I loved it. I knew what was going on with the Kardashians, everything. So it was a lot of fun. And I was very sad to see them go because there was a lot of people that really enjoyed those shows.
Oh my gosh, and such a talented group of hosts, too.
Yes, very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Are you able to share anything else about the tour that you're going to be going on with Sherry? What can people expect?
Oh, you know what? We're going to do something different because it's going to be 2 people. Sherry will do her stand-up. I'll do my stand-up. And then we'll come together and do our stand-up. And then we're going to have a sit-down with a Q&A.
Fun.
We do that, and then we bring other comics with us. We're going to have Sherry Shepherd and friends, like Kim Whitley and friends. Like we'll bring some comics with us.
Oh, that's fun.
That's awesome.
So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to be in New Jersey, Philadelphia, and Pennsylvania. I believe those are all.
Cool.
And
East
they can
Coast.
go to sherryshowtv.com to get the tickets.
Awesome. I mean, you've had such a cool career. What was your big break?
Wow.
Take us back to that.
My big break. these are deep questions. Wait a minute. My big, see, what do we consider our big break? When I made it on the cover of the National Enquirer? Is that your big break? Like, when do you say, oh, I made it? You know, I would say, you know, I started out on a play called Beauty Shop. We went across the country. But Next Friday was my first movie.
Yes.
But I still, it was, you know, I still was very young. And then it's hard because I did a series, Young and Hungry.
Yeah.
You know, that everyone loved, and that was pretty good. So it might have been Curb that really put me on everybody's radar, but still very hard to say.
Yeah.
My big break. I'm going to have to think of that.
You've just been working hard. That's what it is.
There it is. There it is. I've been working hard.
So, you know, we talk to comedians often, and I would say the majority of them are men. So talk to me about your experience as a comic, but also a woman in the industry.
Wow, I love that. And actually, this is my first show since the comedian David A. Arnold passed away. And David, we went on tour together a lot, and it was interesting how things happened because David said, I'm going to use your celebrity to get me in the clubs, but once they see me, they're going to keep me in the clubs. And then he started selling out everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
And he was a very good friend of mine and a comedy buddy. Like tonight over at Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club, I'm going to bring Buddy Lewis. Buddy Lewis is another very good friend of mine who's going to share the stage. So in this business, people expect you, for some reason, black comedians, women, to be blue. And blue means to be kind of filthy. All female comics of color are not filthy. And I remember Larry David, we were in the car when we were filming Curb, and he was driving, he was like, are you blue? And I was like, first of all, what does that mean? And we talked about it, and I said, I can't be, but I also can be clean. So in this business, I think why we were talking about this the other day, that we started that way because we had to fight to get on stage. And if the men are being kind of blue and racy, women, we felt like we had to come up behind them. Like we always wore pants and a hat. I always wore a big T-shirt because you didn't want to show your body parts, because what happens is, women in the audience, there's jealousy, we don't think that you're funny, but we didn't want people to see us and see our bodies and look at us first. You wanted everyone to see you're funny. So I think it's changing now. Of course it is. Women are being women. We're being sexy and who we are. But in the beginning, we dressed like boys.
Yeah, I feel like only in the last few years have I seen girls like being more comfortable on stage, like dressing cute and dressing whatever your particular style is. What are your favorite things to talk about in your comedy?
Ooh, men.
What kind of men?
I love talking about men, young men, old men. My son, who's a man, who's 12 years old. I talk about him. Those are my favorite things. Travel. I travel a lot, so I have a lot of jokes really about traveling and different experiences. Like I met someone in your green room. She was funny, who's here from Seattle, and she told me some funny things. So I'm going to talk about that.
Really? Can you give us a little preview?
Oh, I'm absolutely talking about her. She's a black woman, and she said she came out to Seattle to teach black men how to live in the wilderness. I said, that doesn't match.
That's interesting.
Black young men. She was very funny. Then she said she has an electric car. I said, well, good, come to the show tonight. She was like, it takes 2 hours to charge and it only goes 30 miles. I was like, where
That's how it is
So
sometimes.
Seattle, though. So Seattle.
Are you kidding me? And then you have an underwater tunnel that I'm telling you, that was the longest tunnel. I thought I was like, am I in Alaska?
That's the 99.
What is that?
That's the 99. That's the shortcut.
No, they should put a sign up that says you're entering a tunnel going under the ocean, then it was going down, and you're going to be in here for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, I started having a panic attack. I was like, how
When
far?
is it over?
Yeah, you have to pay extra to go in that tunnel, too. Yeah.
Then it curves.
It's not even free.
I think they should have like windows so you can see the fish go by or something. Yeah, so,
Kim, you're so awesome. Thank you for coming in today and making us laugh.
Oh, well, thank you. I had a good time, ladies, and you're just so bright and cute. Let me cross my legs.
You too. You too.
All right, we'll be back.
You can watch Kim Whitley live at Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club in Tacoma, March 24th and 25th. We've got a link with more info up on our website, fox13seattle.com/studio13live. Thank you so much again.
You were great. Look at how great you are.
Tonight, y'all, tonight.
Coming up, Seattle Children's Theater is joining us in studio to chat about their upcoming production, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
All right, see how they are putting a new twist on this literary classic. Hey, we'll be right back. Well, we are off to see the wizard.
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Yes, they're opening at Seattle's Children's Theater April 4th with their own multicultural interpretation of this classic story.
And today we are joined by Yehan Osanyan with Seattle Children's Theater to hear all about the show. Welcome. Thanks for coming in. I love Wizard of Oz, so I'm so excited to hear all about this. How is this new interpretation a little bit different than the classic story?
Well, the playwright Jacqueline E. Lawton, she adapted it from Frank L. Baum's book. And so, for example, the ruby slippers are back to silver.
Oh, cool.
And it's much shorter. She does such a great job of being agile and does some dexterity with the text. So we can get all of the main plot points, but we go at the speed of YouTube for young people, so our attention span, we can keep moving and we're not going to lose their attention.
That's ideal.
Yeah, I think so. And talk to me about why it was so important for you to tell the story in this way.
So, you know the Seattle freeze? Well, I moved here about 12 years ago, and I experienced the Seattle freeze.
Oh, no.
And I was looking for a community, and my two friends, Shell Sandana Gary and Kalia Ann Domingo, they're both Filipinas, and they welcomed me into their families in a way that no one else had.
Yeah.
And I felt very much like Dorothy, being welcomed by Auntie Em and Uncle Henry. And I've helped raise their children, and I've just am a part of their lives in a way that surprised me, because I also was raised by people that I was not born to, like by people who are not my biological family members. And so when I read this script, and it's set in the 1900s, and I thought about the Philippine-American War that was happening at the time, and I thought, oh, if I'm thinking about family, and if the story is about family and what it means to join a family later than birth, I thought about Shell and Kai immediately. And so I wanted to tell the story of family and home.
It's like my favorite term, family.
Yeah.
Friends that become family.
Absolutely.
You know, that's so real. Well, you touched on it a little bit, but tell us more about, the creative team and the diverse cast behind this production.
My goodness. So the scenic designer, Julia Welch, is someone who, anytime I talk about sets or scenic that I love, that's Julia. I love her work, and so she joined us. There's our Dorothy and our Dorothy understudy and our Auntie M. And the Taya Pine is our costume designer, and Taya's Filipino, and was really able to take some early pre-colonial influences and attach them in an Avatar-style way to our Wicked Witch and to all of our costumes. And our lighting designer, Adam, he's gonna light, excuse me, bad for the mic. He's gonna light that set and find a way to help us tell the story of so many different locations and places in just one theater.
That's so cool.
What are the themes that you want people to take away from this performance?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is centering young people. There's so many times that when we become adults, we forget that we were also children at some point, and we forget to advocate and do things that allow children to be present and have these rich experiences that we get to value when we're adults. And so the idea that young people are wonderful parts of our society is really important to me. Also, the way that young people change us and challenge the things that we think are important to us. Also, home. I know for the last several years I've had just a different relationship with my home. We've spent so much time in it. And so what does it mean to be home, and how does your family affect your home?
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a sense of journey and adventure. When I talked to Julia about designing the set, I went, Julia, can we make something that's athletic, that when the audience sees it, they want to jump up and just play on the set? And I think she accomplished that.
Yes, I think so.
Tell me more about what makes a place feel like home for you.
Oh, food. Absolutely. Food immediately. I remember my grandmother, who's a Jamaican grandmother, will cook me rice and peas and jerk chicken and oxtail. And so if someone makes me a hot lunch, I'm very excited and I immediately feel like I am at home. And I think that's what my friends have done. And there's so many dishes in the Filipino culture that are so similar to the West Indian culture. And so if you have anything that reminds me of my grandmother on the table, I'm potentially there for longer than you would like me to be.
Okay, so maybe we should be open to hosting dinner parties. We were saying earlier it's so hard to host a dinner party because it's so stressful, but hearing that makes me want to have people over and feed them. It's such a love language.
Absolutely.
So I would love to talk to you a little bit more about the importance of listening to children or to young people, because I think that growing up, a lot of adults who were children didn't feel listened to. And then they sort of perpetuate that trauma instead of changing the cycle for the children in their lives. So talk to me about how stories like this can open the door to conversation in families.
Oh, thank you so much for bringing up that part of it, because that's also what brought me to the story, because I had to understand how Dorothy ended up in Oz. And I think it's the trauma from the climate change of the twister where she hits her head. However, with young people, I've become really well practiced at handling really difficult conversations with young people, like grief. And Jacqueline's adaptation does a really good job of addressing the really hard aspects of The Wizard of Oz. You know, they're hungry. It's the 1900s. There wasn't an abundance of food or crop. The family that she had was poor, but they weren't as poor as her family. And so how can we take the things that we have and spread them so we have more things for everyone, so many more people can get their needs met. And one of the things that I love talking about with young people is grief, because in our little bodies, grief just takes up so much space. And so if we don't get the chance to have those conversations in age-appropriate ways, and the Wizard of Oz in this play allows us to have those conversations with some really great prompts and some really great dialogue. One of the lines the Wicked Witch of the West says is, "I don't even care if no one likes me." And we don't get to hear that very often from the people that we demonize or the people that we think are evil. She doesn't think people like her, and that's a big deal. And so when I think about how many young people think that no one likes them, that is a place for us to start a potentially difficult conversation, but that if we can interrupt that conversation when they are young, then that conversation doesn't continue into when they're older.
This is
Well
so
said.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing this with us.
Thank you for doing that, Yehan. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, and you can catch The Wonderful Wizard of Oz at Seattle Children's Theater April 4th through May 21st.
Yeah,
That's
tickets
pretty
start
awesome.
at $15, and we have more info on our website, of course. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and still ahead, we are cooking some modern Vietnamese dishes with Basa.
Yes, including some savory Vietnamese pancakes. Ooh, looks so good. We'll be right back. Hey, it is time for Emerald Eats, where we get to highlight amazing food in our area.
Yes, and today we are joined by Chef Trinh Nguyen with Basa. Welcome, welcome. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so you opened in 2019 on Bainbridge Island. So tell us a little bit about how the restaurant started.
So, my parents started their American dream with opening their first restaurant in Post Bowl back in 2005. My mom and dad retired in 2018. We took over that restaurant, started to tweak a little bit into how we wanted to do it. Wasn't very well received. Customer wanted our parents' menu, which is great because they did such a good job. And so we did a pop-up in Bainbridge with Chef Brendan. And he nudged me and he says, hey, there's a spot next door that's for rent. You should really inquire. And so I was like, okay, well, it doesn't hurt. I called the owner. And 6 months later, we opened in 2019 of August of 2019.
That's
Beautiful.
awesome. So you're a pro now. It's been a couple years. What are we making today?
We are making bun cock today. So I brought together with us a little bun cock pan.
Okay.
Bun cock is a mini savory pancake, a smaller version of what bun sao is. So if you're familiar with Vietnamese cooking or Vietnamese food, bun sao is very popular. But what I love about bun cock is it's so small. And you can eat as many as you want without feeling guilty.
Oh, good.
I like that.
Sign me up.
Yes.
So what's the first step?
The first step is heating up the pan, getting the oil in there. I prepped it a little bit just so that we'll be ready for it. I have this batter right here that's pre-mixed just for the purpose of the show. And then the batter is super simple. My recipe is rice flour, coconut cream, oil, eggs, turmeric here.
Nice. Oh, beautiful.
In the recipe that I share, there's a little bit of a concoction that I made, which is a 1-day-old rice with water, and you just put it in the blender, mix it up, and then you add it to your batter recipe. And what that does is it gives you a really good texture.
Ooh, I can hear the sizzling.
Bubble, bubble. And how long does it usually take for these little cups to be ready?
Bun cock will only take about 3 to 4 minutes, especially if you have the right pan. And what's great about bun cock that I love is not only that it's small, you can eat as many as you want. There's 7 well in each of the bun cock. And if you have family with dietary restriction, this is the best dish for you, right? Because in one batch, you can make as many topping as you want.
Oh, that's
genius. Awesome.
So I have somebody who likes meat, I'm gonna add meat. I have somebody who likes shrimp, I'm gonna put shrimp. I have somebody who's vegetarian, I'm gonna add the vegetarian options. I mean, it's just so fun and easy. Your kids can participate.
That sounds fun,
Yeah.
for sure.
Everyone likes to customize, and we were just talking about feeding people and showing them you love them. So
Yeah.
having different things that people want to put in there is awesome.
Exactly.
It's really fun to watch cook too.
Yeah, and I think this is a dish that I think has a lot of inspirations from the French era when they ruled over Vietnam. You know, we have a lot of Vietnamese food is a lot of inspirations from Chinese and French cooking. I think this is one that's definitely from the French era, and I think this kind of, I don't know if you guys see it, this kind of resembles like a small quiche.
Yes, it does. I see that.
Exactly.
I do see that.
Yeah.
Is it hard to pull them out once they're done, or should they slide right out?
They should slide right out, but you have to be generous with oil here. So you almost think of this as something you're cooking like in a fryer.
Okay.
So if you're hesitant about it, you know, sometimes you'll have a hard time. I use an
get sticky.
offset spatula to kind of work my way in. The other trick is to make sure that the pan is hot. So this is a cast iron pan. So heating the pan up is really important too, right?
What kind of oil should you use for this? Does it matter?
I use vegetable oil. I like vegetable oil in Asian cooking just because it's light, it's easy that you can work with.
Beautiful. Now, while you are working, you actually did prepare a few that are already done that we're going to be able to try. So what are we going to be trying?
So you are trying, so Carly, I know that you're a vegetarian, so I have a vegetarian option for you. So, you know, in a lot of our menu, we actually call this tartlet, or bun called tartlet, just because it resembles it. And you have mushrooms and bean sprout that's already set for you. You have a little bit of parsnip puree on top and a little bit of black tobacco with cilantro, micro cilantro. And then for you, I gave you a shrimp options and a pork option so that you get to try it. And then there's the dressing that you would dip it in.
Dip it in there?
Okay.
So yeah.
Dip. Okay. Beautiful. Let's try it.
And what's in the dressing?
It is a fish sauce dressing with vinegar, sugar, salt, pickled daikon carrots, and a little bit of, if you like Thai chili, dig in.
She's spicy. Give her the spice.
So yummy. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's amazing.
These are absolutely delicious. We're going to have to come visit you on Bainbridge.
Yes, please.
And we'll have more info up on our website, fox13seattle.com/studio13live. Have the best weekend ever. We will see you Monday.
Bye.
I wanna see you smile, take you another mile. Don't gotta wait, don't gotta wait, don't gotta wait today. It's happening all around.